This is Deborah Atkinson, and you're listening to Flipping 50, where I address your top questions and things you struggle with most so you can have more energy and less decision fatigue about what to eat, how to move, and so you can change your thoughts to flip 50 with the life and the energy you love in this second half. And today it's all about how to exercise for hormone balance so you can get the energy, the weight loss potentially, and the better skin you want. You may be asking, exercise for hormone balance? Yes. This podcast is all about really for women or for images who represent women in my programs and private clients that I've worked with for nearly 3 decades. Because we don't, even women over 50, fall into all of the same categories all of the time. Before we dive in, this episode is brought to you by my Flipping 50s 28-day Kickstart. And the last day to register is the last day before the last Thursday of the month. Did I just totally confuse you? So I can't say the last Wednesday because that's not always the way that it lands. Inevitably, there will be an anomaly. But if you're not registered before the day or that week before the last Thursday of the month, you'll be on a wait list for the following month. We don't refund, so make sure when you get in, you know you're either in plenty of time or that you'll wait using the bonuses and putting them to work for you and maybe reaching out for a one-on-one with me. We refund, and so there is a guarantee as long as you participate. You show up for the live sessions, you reach out in the groups. There's always a guarantee, but after 34 years, here's what we know about helping people. It's always inconvenient. There's never a good time to do anything meaningful, right? To buy a house, to change jobs, to move states, to have children. There's never a great time. And the sad thing about health and fitness is while we're not paying attention to that because we're so busy, disease is having a heyday. So we need to get after it. And my job, as partially I see it, is to not let you off the hook. So when you get in, you're in. Stay in, and then we'll talk. So it's the perfect way to begin making exercise matter more with Eat More, an exercise less method that improves your sleep, decreases stress, and boosts your energy. And yes, we've had women in the group lose between 7 and now I have to say 15 pounds in this last Kickstart. That doesn't mean that results are typical, but you will feel better, I promise, by the end. So let's dive in. What exactly is hormone balance? So before we start trying to exercise for hormone balance, we really have to define it. So here it is. If you're not even sure what hormone balance is, or if some of your recent frustration is with a lack of your you-ness, right? You being 100% you. And that seems to describe hormone imbalance for a lot of women. This post potentially is for you. If any of these things describe you, you're putting on weight lately, no matter what you do. You have belly fat, even though your weight is okay. You have cellulite on your thighs, belly, bum, or on your upper arms. You can't seem to develop any muscle tone in your legs. You've got a saggy bum in spite of so many lunges and squats you can't sit down. You turned up the exercise and eat carefully, but still no results. You've got this crepey chest and neck skin. Plus, you have touchy points from prior or current injuries. You know, those joints that need TLC. You've had breast cancer surgeries. You've had other invasive surgery or joint replacement. You have a chronic condition. Maybe you didn't go through menopause, or you're not even in perimenopause, but you had surgical implemented menopause all of a sudden. And potentially You can't sleep well. Even if you do sleep, you don't wake refreshed. You have high levels of stress right now. You've tested your hormones and you're normal, quote unquote, but you don't feel it. You don't have any idea how to exercise normal or not. You have depression or anxiety, maybe both. You're taking medications for either depression or anxiety or other things that have with side effects. Your digestion is off, even though you thought that was just me. You think it's just you, but really you're constipated or you've got diarrhea or you've got both. You don't poop every day, at least once. You have rabbits or pudding in your poop instead of snakes. You have gas, bloating, or you're just tolerating any or all of the above. And finally, what you used to do doesn't work anymore. Then this is definitely for you. Exercise for hormone balance is not your textbook exercise. It's not what you did in your 20s and 30s, even though that, if it were the right thing then, still is not what's right for you now. If the rules feel like they change for you overnight and put you into imbalance, you could notice a shift that quickly back into balance too. You may not be quite so lucky to get it right that immediately, but you can feel better. You'll get signs you're on the right path, and you can lose weight or get that tone you're after if you're willing to make some changes. That's the big piece, right? Change takes change. Hormone balance through exercise starts with these 3 steps. Number 1, assess what signs and symptoms you have from that list I gave you above, and you want to refer to it. You can come to flipping50.com, all spelled out, no spaces, /podcast to this episode. That'll be released July 24th, 2018, and you can find it easily. So really write them down and do that now. I'll wait or put this on pause if you're listening to the recording. And next, number 2 is next to each of those signs or symptoms that you wrote down, write down what you've tried. Make a column of signs, symptoms, and a column of what I've tried next to it, with plenty of options for the solutions and notes for how you tried it, when you tried it. Number 3 is this: get honest. So with those things that you've tried, which of those things have you tried systematically, methodology involved in it? You've done it once at a time in a specific sequence. So you could say, this worked, this didn't work. And there wasn't random acts of trying multiple things at a time. Or you're, say, one of those people who've tried, just an example here, like a multivitamin, and you take it sometimes, but you really don't have a plan. So if you've tried things before, even if you don't yet have results, you know a little more about what does and what doesn't work for hormone balance. Or do you? So if you've said, I've tried everything and nothing works, you may have tried things randomly or unknowingly sabotage your results of a good thing with the wrong type or timing of it. That's where I want to jump in here with exercise for hormone balance. I've written dozens of blogs, dozens more articles, created still more videos about exercise for hormone balance, and I touched on hormones and exercise after 50 in my first book, Navigating Fitness After 50, and I filled 2 more books. You may recognize You Still Got It, Girl, and the other one, more recently, Hot Not Bothered, with exercise for hormone balance research, because it's booming. There is a limited amount of research that focuses on females as subjects, and far less of that focuses on females in perimenopause, menopause, and postmenopause. But there's more of it now than there ever was, and that's going to grow. But the problem we really all have is there's not a lack of information, right? We have a lack of time to actually sort through and filter through the best information. That actually is a part of my mission for women who are flipping 50, and that means flipping 50 to the second half. Doesn't mean 50. It means your 50s, your 60s, your 70s, and eventually we're going to be talking about your 80s and your 90s, right? But I know that audience is not so online. When you want answers and you're frustrated, you want them right now, right? And like yesterday, please, right? I mean, that is the kind of female wish, right? So when you're frustrated, you want those answers like yesterday. And I've heard one woman say to me, like yesterday's yesterday would be even better. So let me give you some very quick, easy to implement answers. And I'm going to go through these for women, if you will. There's more where this came from. But what I really try to do is narrow it down so you could kind of put yourself into a bucket and say, okay, if these things are most true of me, then this is the first series or strategy set that I'm going to try. So, is this you? If you're tired in the morning, even after a full night's sleep, you wake up not wanting to wake up, you don't have an appetite in the morning, you may or may not have coffee, but you really don't want food or exercise. Pajamas would be good. Your hormone tests show you don't have any cortisol at all. You're like flatlining, even when you should. So, it wakes us up in the morning and it's the energy hormone. But if you don't have any cortisol, you're suffering. So, your exercise for hormone balance is number one, reduce your exercise. Leave the weights and the high intensity interval training alone for a week at least. If you can get out for walks or bike rides, substitute what activity works for your joints and your body and enjoy yourself. Alone, with a friend or a dog, then do that. Stick with short duration right now, 20 to 30 minutes most of the time. A longer time or duration, say 45 to 60 minutes, as long as you enjoy it. Say on the weekends, once a week, or a day when you've got plenty of time, maybe it's a day off, and you're not on the clock, can be good. So make sure, again, it's not about fatiguing or getting breathless. You need a major reset and a major rest. Fill up the hole that you've dug and rest. Focus on the sleep, on the rest, a massage, meditation, journaling. Learn what proper nutrition is for you today while you're flipping 50. It's not the healthy that you once thought. So, second case scenario, is this you? You're the right weight, but your proportions have changed. You've got belly fat you never had before. You're adamant about that coming off now. You're on bioidentical hormones and they're still not helping. You skip meals or you have them at different times all the time. You drink coffee to rev up and wine to unwind. You read every label, watch exactly what you put in your mouth. You count points, calories. You go to bed and you wake up at varying times. Your exercise for hormone balance is get short, quick interval training sets in 1 to 2 times a week. And one time if you're just starting for a few weeks, that's enough. And 2 times if you are a little more advanced, you've been doing it. But bring it back so you're doing 20 to 30 minutes start to end. The maximum interval training time a day, brand new study or fairly new from Penn State, showed 40 to 45 minutes total interval training during a week was optimal. So for those of us just starting and who have issues with cortisol, which is women in midlife, we're susceptible more so to the negative effects of stress than we ever were before because of the rest of our hormone fluctuations. You need less of that, not more of that. So you don't want to go for the maximum. Get to weight training 2 fatigue days. You can do same day as your interval training or on alternate days. That piece doesn't matter. Really, that's about your time and what's realistic. Make things happen in the morning, though. That's when cortisol should be elevated. And then in the evening or outdoors, you want to do more relaxing exercise. Get outdoors and do something unplugged at least once a week. Hike, get lost for that matter. You need to let go. No minutes, no calories, no mile tracking. While you're doing that, get a plan for eating. Plan breakfast, plan lunch, and plan dinner. If you're over 50, you're required by hormone law to do some adulting here. So don't leave anything to chance. You unfortunately do need to spend a little time in the kitchen. Nobody else is going to prep it the way you would without preservatives, additives, hormones, chemicals, processed foods. If everything you do elevates cortisol, everything you do deposits fat to your belly. So lack of regular meals, lack of regular bedtime and wake time, and reliance on supplements or prescriptions to do the work daily habits should do will backfire on you. You do the work, and they'll take you the rest of the way, but it's the 80-20 thing, and the 80 is up to you. Okay, third case scenario. Is this you? You exercise almost every day. You spend hours in the gym or at home every week. You do a similar distance or duration every time you exercise. If you miss a day, it drives you crazy. You do it all hard. You're feeling flat during workouts lately, or you feel like you could lay down and take a nap after a workout. You don't really look forward to workouts like you used to. You feel tired most of the time, and you think you just got a good workout, you'd feel better. You can't sleep in spite of being tired. If that sounds familiar, your exercise for hormone balance is this. Cut your exercise in half. Increase the intensity of some of those longer workouts. Instead of doing longer, make them shorter, but just do that 1 or 2 times a week. There's very little evidence that more time results in more results. In 34 years, those people we observe in the gym for hours every day never really change. Their body pretty much stays the same over time. They're just there. Same shape, same complaints, same energy, less potentially as they age, actually. For hormone balance, that hour of power on the treadmill or the elliptical or wherever you choose to spend it is public enemy number 1. Lifting weights for the cosmetic effect does little to change your body composition. So those total body toning classes can give you a boost of confidence, but it's some short, specific exercise sessions that actually get results. If you're addicted, but you're tired and you continue your routine, you'll soon be burnt out. So you really got to make some changes. All right. Last but not least, is this you? You're still looking for your own description? Do you exercise but struggle to get toned and add lean muscle? Are you trying to watch what you eat so you can prevent more weight loss, right? You're the anomaly. You're the woman everybody can't understand. Do you have very little or next to no libido? Do you have a hard time sleeping? When you exercise, do you typically keep it moderate and go for longer? When you lift weights, do you do about 15 repetitions, maybe even more? And do you finish 10 to 12 repetitions, but know you could do more if you needed to? You're not really at fatigue. You just stop. Here's your exercise for hormone balance. Start lifting weights focused on your major muscle groups, and those are your chest muscles, your back muscles, and your leg muscles. And the exercises that target them are a chest press, a bent over row, or a lat pull down. It may be squats and lunges if you can do them. It may be leg press if you're at the gym, or if knees and hips don't allow that, then maybe it's bridges on the ball and hamstring curls. Go to bed early. Make sure you control your environment. Stop your low, slow, long exercise sessions and that long endurance activity. You want to increase your protein at every meal and eat regularly. If you love wine or that nightcap, you want to stop that. All those things kill your testosterone, which is a key hormone for building lean tissue and for boosting your libido. Get you that confidence and that attitude that helps you in the boardroom and in the bedroom. Testosterone gives you a kick of confidence for everything. And you know what? If you feel better, it doesn't mean that you even changed your size or your body shape, but feeling better confidence is one of the sexiest things that you can have. These are just a few of the scenarios of exercise changes you can make for more hormone balance. Each woman has a unique set of health history, physical status, signs, and symptoms that make her unique, and you do. So if you didn't see yourself here as one of those 4 specifically, or there's a little overlap, of course, because you're not average. So I really did a bit of stereotyping here, but try to go with the one that makes the most sense. And you notice that in some of the here's your exercise answers, there's overlap there too. There is a common theme, but there are certain things that you need to do based on your own signs and symptoms. I would love it if you would share your biggest hormone balance challenge below this show in the comments. And tell me, what did I miss for you specifically? What's been true of you? Do you want support determining what factors influence your hormone balance? Your best next step is Flipping 50's 28-day Kickstart. It is the fastest way to pull together all the pieces. In You Still Got It, Girl, the book, I described the fact that we all reach for exercise because it used to work for us. And yet it takes an integrated effect. It's like, you cannot go into the gym or your home gym and do bicep curls and get great arms. You can't even do bicep curls and tricep extensions and get great arms. You have to do the whole body. You have to boost your metabolism so you lose fat, so you can see those pretty muscles underneath. And then you will faster than if you target the arms. If you leave the arms out for a while, get your entire body toned, you will begin to see arm tone and definition faster than if you only do the arms. And the same is true with just targeting fitness. You actually also have to look at your nutrition, but now we really need to look closely at this point in our lives at your sleep, the way you handle stress, how much of it you've got, what you can do to offset it if it won't go away because you've got a meaningful life. So as the 28-day Kickstart launches in the beginning of the month, but you've got to be registered before the final week of the end of the month. So Tuesday would be a great day to do it. That's today when we're releasing. You want to find out the daily type and timing of those habits that matters most for hormone reset. So if you've started and stopped before, it's just a mindset shift, and that's part of the process. We have to dump some of those old ideas we learned in our 20s and 30s because they're not going to work again, ever. But something else will. As both an exercise psychology coach and a kinesiology expert, I can help you with what happens to both changing your mind so that you can change your body and work on that, both above and below the shoulders. If you prefer not a group, but you'd rather do something private to fit into your busy life and schedule, and you want private coaching on your own weekly exercise, I'm going to share a link to a calendar so you can either look at support through a small group, making it really affordable and economical to work with me privately, or go full out VIP. Get the exercise, the nutrition support, and the mindset to go with all of it. If you are not moving yet and you can't seem to find time, I've got 8 simple daily flips, and I'm going to leave the link to those below too. And last but not least, if you'd rather focus on what you're doing now, but you're willing to make maybe one small change in the kitchen, and you want to learn how to cook better for hormone balance, and you love the idea of whole food, great food that you can make and you know what goes into it, I'm going to share a link to the Hormone Balancing Cookbook by my friend Magdalena that came out this spring. So you can click for the link. And if you have a question I missed, leave it below the show link at flipping50.com/podcast, where you'll find this one. I love hearing from you. And if this episode was helpful, please leave a rating in iTunes and then share it with a friend. Support yourself with a supportive community of women who are on the same journey. To get the most from this week's episode, don't forget, go to the show notes at flipping50.com/podcast for July 24th, 2018. And you'll get all the links to everything I've just mentioned. And get this in print if you like to read it thoroughly yourself about each one of these female scenarios who are going through hormone change. What are you waiting for? Let's start flipping 50 together.